Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So I saw this from the insider paper. New, the Russian ruble has bounced back to almost its full value since before the West imposed economic sanctions over the invasion of Ukraine. And let me just bring up the ruble to USD here on the chart, and you guys can see, so this is the Russian ruble to the United States dollar, and you can see before the conflict, it did collapse. There's been a lot of volatility here on the chart, and now we're almost back up to where we were pre-conflict. So, I did a video on this the other day. The fact that Vladimir Putin could in fact decide to back the ruble to gold, and here's the video I did. I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner if you guys didn't catch it. And this was a tweet here from Neon Revolt. I don't think people realize what just happened over the past few days, and he explains this whole situation. If you guys didn't catch that video, I do suggest you watch it. I do go over it in detail. And so the fact is, he's suggesting that Russia, since they have the power, since they have the energy, the resources, they are the ones who really have the upper hand. And if they decide to peg their currency to gold, other countries around the world are going to either have to pay in gold or buy the Russian ruble, and this is why we are seeing the ruble price spike. And now the Russian ruble is where it is, essentially by and large, before the conflict occurred. I mean, you can see that peak up here. Russian ruble did peak up right up here to about 0.0132, which is roughly the same price it was in and around here on February the 17th. So that is interesting. Clearly, it's looking as though the sanctions aren't working. Eric Young here on Twitter also mentioning this. The U.S. demanded physical gold as payments from Britain for U.S. manufactured military equipment and supplies during World War I. So a little bit of a history lesson here. That was the beginning of the end of the British pound world reserve currency system. So pay attention closely. From Investopedia, he says the Allies paid the U.S. for supplies in gold during World War I, propelling the U.S. to become the largest holder of gold. Those who hold the gold hold the power. Countries pegged their currencies to the dollar after the war, ending the gold standard. Countries pegged their currencies to the dollar after the war, ending the gold standard. Then the International Monetary Fund reported that 59% of all foreign bank reserves are denominated in U.S. dollars. Despite its position in the global markets, the US isn't the strongest world currency, ranking 10th on the list. So to put things into context here, we saw it once before, who's to say we won't see it again? And so Russia, they hold the power, they hold the oil, they hold the energy. They are a major exporter of this to other regions around the world, Europe, Asia being big markets there for them. So is this going to affect US dollar dominance and especially the US dollar as the world reserve currency? Interesting, because I didn't actually know this. And so it is interesting to look at the history, because we know we are likely to see similarities in the present. So wanted to thank Eric Young there and Insider Paper there for posting that. Also, despite all this, we are seeing huge growth for RippleNet. So, the economy, although we are seeing it in turmoil and a bit unpredictable, we are also seeing payment providers like Ripple and their business model grow. In this report here from XRP Crypto Wolf, Ripple reports 130% yearly basis growth in Asia-Pacific transactions amid emerging use cases coming this year. So this is important because we are seeing essentially in real time the collapse of the financial system, yet it also should be noted that RippleNet has been thriving. So Brooks Entwistle just did a recent interview. So Wrath Economan originally tweeted this out the other day. Here is yesterday's interview in Token Post of Brooks Entwistle, Ripple's VP of APAC. Kind of a boilerplate noting NFTs, CBDCs, ODL, the line of credit for XRP, and the Crypto Hub does also note a 130% transaction growth year over year, and emerging use cases like trade flow or treasury finance. So that forecast apparently considerably higher usage of the service in 2022. RippleNet is a global blockchain payment-based solution developed by Ripple, as we know. The uptake of Ripple's on-demand liquidity service in the APAC and MENA region has surged in response to increased demand for quick settlements and immediate access to funds. APAC reportedly is one of the fastest growing regions for RippleNet, where transactions have risen 130% year over year. Also make note of this, another encouraging development is that key countries in Asia Pacific are investigating the usage of CBDCs. Ripple announced a partnership with Bhutan's central bank, the Royal Monetary Authority, in September 2021 to pilot a central bank digital currency in phases using Ripple's CBDC solution. The country's ambition to improve digital and cross-border payments, boost financial inclusion efforts, and extend its commitment to sustainability drove the partnership move, as stated in a release. So There's also a lot of talk about CBDCs, and I mean, CBDCs can come in many different shapes and forms. In this morning's video, I talked a little bit about how Tom Emmer and Ted Cruz are now putting forth bills to stop CBDC implementation in the United States. And they're very specific about it. If you guys didn't catch this morning's video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. In recent years, APAC, or Asia Pacific, has risen to dominate the digital banking business, accounting for 20% of the world's approximately 250 digital banks. And since digital banking is becoming more and more popular, especially in these types of regions, we can see why companies like Ripple would thrive there. The APAC area struggled with the lack of awareness of the blockchain technology that supports crypto digital payments in the past. Reports over the last several years, however, have highlighted an increase in crypto usage, with the worldwide blockchain market expected to grow at an 81% compound annual growth rate over the next 5 years, reaching $23.3 billion in 2023. So this is just the beginning. We are continuing to see this industry grow, and RippleNet is at the center of this in the Asia Pacific region, in the MENA region, and hopefully one day, I'm crossing my fingers, in the United States and throughout North America. Hopefully we see as meaningful an impact with Ripple and XRP in North America as we are seeing in other parts of the world. And I think once we get that clarity, the power of XRP will finally be unleashed and we will see meaningful adoption. Of course, guys, this is happening in a very precarious time financially, economically. Governments are foreseeing problems down the road, and so I thought I would bring this to you guys from Ian Binns. And it was funny when he posted this. This guy, yeah, this is Klaus Schwab. You know, I felt the same way after I heard this clip. Listen to this.
We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected.
So is that another prediction? Something that the World Economic Forum leader Klaus Schwab already knows about global supply chains and food and energy systems? Things that make you go, And guys, did you know that this is from the World Government Summit 2022? It's actually called World Government Summit, as in One World Government Summit. The World Government Summit is an annual event held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It brings together leaders in government for a global dialogue about governmental process and policies with a focus on the issue of futurism, technology, innovation, and other topics. One World Government Summit. I'm adding the one in there, but it doesn't seem as though they are being very secretive about what their end goal is. Anyway, Klaus Schwab here warning us, warning in quotes. And, just the other day, I did do a video on Chris Larsen. Warren Davidson actually came out and commented on a recent statement that Chris Larsen made just the other day with regards to his initial viewpoint on Bitcoin and the fact that the Bitcoin maxis out there should be changing their code. Let me play you guys this clip from Chris Larsen, his updated update on the matter.
Really changed it too and said, we don't want any of that here. And have basically been kicking out the Bitcoin miners. Because I think they saw that it was hurting their efforts to get the carbon neutral by, I think it is 2050, right? So what's going on now is they're going to other countries. Kazakhstan, that's not good because that's all fossil fuels. But now coming to the US, there's a lot of smart entrepreneurs who now are, creating renewable energy mining. But I'm sorry, there's no such thing as green mining because it's not necessary. They should be changing just like Ethereum did. And by the way, now I think the founder of Zcash also announced they're switching from proof of work to a different low energy protocol. Hats off to them too. But the Bitcoin folks need to make the switch as well. It's unconscionable that right today, you're gobbling up on the order of 70, and depending on the price, because it's correlated price, 70 to 140 trillion watt hours of energy. Look, if all of that was green energy, that's not good because that green energy should be used for green steel making, green aluminum, green concrete, agricultural usage, direct air capture, green hydrogen, you name it. I mean, there are just so many battles that are being waged in this war. And that green energy needs to go elsewhere. A big part of getting carbon neutral is don't use energy where you don't need it. And you don't need it to confirm the state of blockchains. You just don't need it. So make the damn code change. And I tell you, I just don't think it's going to happen voluntarily. And by the way, look, this is not some secret AI that runs Bitcoin. Okay, it's about 20 to 30 very influential, very wealthy people that are going to make that decision between the core developers, the exchanges and the miners. By the way, there's a fascinating book I've been reading called the block size wars, And it's fascinating because this kind of goes back to one of the big changes that was proposed to increase the block size and sort of how that played out. And how it was a very small group of people that prevented that. So again, this is a small group of people that are incredibly wealthy that could make this change, but they're not going to do it voluntarily because they've been making this pitch for 10 years and it just doesn't hold water anymore, right?
So Chris Larsen not really wavering on his stance, reiterating the same message that he reiterated when posting that original tweet thread. And so, he's going on about this green initiative and how we can't really use green energy to mine Bitcoin because, it would be better utilized in other ways, like for manufacturing, iron making, I think he says in this clip. It's interesting because, although he sounds, we know Chris Larsen, very environmentally friendly. He's always been this kind of guy, and him being at the helm of Ripple, one of the most environmentally cryptocurrencies out there, doesn't use up a lot of energy, and this has been the narrative over the last several years. When you compare XRP to Bitcoin, XRP obviously going to be the future of the financial system because, even just strictly because it is so energy efficient, why use something that gobbles up so much electricity to function? Well, Warren Davidson commented on this. They're not going to do it voluntarily. He quotes Chris Larsen here. In other words, we are willing to use force to impose our will on you. So being kind of critical of Chris Larsen, likely accurate on both counts. They'll certainly try. This is why good government defends freedom and free markets. We know just the other day Warren Davidson did come out and lash back at Ripple, and I did a video on that. I'll link it up here if you guys did not catch that. Anders L down here commenting, ever heard of the Paris Agreement? Since there will be an exponential increase in energy usage from Bitcoin mining going forward, could you figure out what will happen and why Larsen says what he says? Don't want to sound rude, but do you have two brain cells? Okay, there is a lot going on here. Of course, there's the green narrative that is very appealing for world governments and organizations like the World Economic Forum that has been pushing a green narrative. As we know, Chris Larsen is, Ripple is a partner of the World Economic Forum, and Chris Larsen is also listed on their website as a partner. Real XRP boy here saying, I'm with you on government overreach, but I don't think we're changing, let alone killing that monster anytime soon. Chris Larsen is pretty much saying it's a must if Bitcoin wants to survive. Don't shoot the messenger. This climate agenda is not going away. So, I think it's more about the climate agenda and how it is very much in line with the powers that be. And, it's part of what their plan is to great reset the economy. Finance, just one part of that. Ripple and XRP obviously play a central role in that. And so then I saw this from Jungle Inc., and this seemed like kind of out of left field here. This guy coded like 99% of the XRPL, retweeting out Vinny Falco's tweet here, attacking, or is it an attack? Chris Larsen attended Davos in 2016. His opinion is aligned with the globalist consensus. Wow, former Ripple employee calling out Chris Larsen as essentially being a globalist. And for those of you guys who do not know, Vinny Falco here, here's his resume. It was listed on his website. Team leader at Ripple Labs from 2013 to 2017. And he gives his qualifications here. Hire and lead a team of top-level C++ engineers, architecture, refactoring, developing tests, documentation, training, develop business and marketing strategies. So he was at Ripple. That is confirmed. And 99% of the XRPL, well, that's not entirely accurate. Vinny Valco down here saying, thanks for the kind words, but that's not really fair to the original authors. I wrote a bunch of the code for Ripple, but the bulk of the work was consensus algorithm. That came from Joel Katz and Arthur Brito before me, and David Schwartz saying, it may seem like he wrote a huge percentage of the code because he did a number of reorganizations of the code that moved code from one place to another. Some tools may show the moved code as his code because they can't distinguish authorship from movement. So David Schwartz also just chiming in and confirming that. So he didn't write 99% of the XRPL. However, he did play a huge role in it. And as you guys can see, he was the team leader at Ripple Labs from 2013 to 2017. And yet he calls out Chris Larsen here, mentioning that he did in fact attend Davos in 2016, commenting on our Six's tweet here. The comments under Chris Larsen's new tweet are very disrespectful and shameful. He didn't say anything wrong, but just gave his opinion. Are we not allowed to have freedom of speech without being attacked? We need a level playing field. Okay, I was not expecting this. But I mean, Vinny Falco, he is not wrong. Chris Larsen, executive chairman and co-founder of Ripple, yes, he is listed on the World Economic Forum's website. I guess I'm just very surprised that a former Ripple employee would make such a bold statement here on Twitter. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.